is hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, thanks for joining me. This is Tony Gapperstone. I am a screenwriter, an actor, and a director. I'm located in the Redwood City, California, Northern California Bay Area. You can find me on all the socials at Tony Gapperstone, my name, or my website, tonygap.com. And I would love for you to watch my feature film. It's been out for 3 weeks and 1 day today. It's called Last Chance Charlene. You can find it everywhere, Amazon, Apple, Google Play. It's on Xbox, YouTube, all that stuff. Just Google Last Chance Charlene. You'll find my feature film. And every week for 186 episodes, I have been chatting with makers and creative people from all across the country, talking about how they make things happen, how they tell stories, and what they're learning as they do. And I'm really excited today that we get to have some people from New York over here. And one of them is a Tony as well. So welcome. Tony Walker and Don. So welcome, you guys.
How you doing? That New York accent was terrible.
How you doing over here? I'm from New York. I'm actually from Chicago, so I talk like Chicago, like that. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Well, guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? By the way, I'd like to do this too, is do a physical description for those who might not be able to see us. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, but people will also watch this. And also for the visually impaired, I'm a Caucasian man with brown hair wearing a shirt that says, "We are the story." I'm very over-branded today. BraveMaker word behind my back with all this green stuff and pink words to say "Brave stories change the world." It's a little overkill, but that is what it is. Tony, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, I am a bald Caucasian fat man. I have a beard, and I am a one-legged man. I had my right leg amputated some years back. My background is just my basement ceiling because I could not get my computer to work. So I run a comedy troupe called Knock 'em Dead Comedy. And I also run a video podcast studio out of Governor's Comedy Club, one of the biggest comedy clubs in the country. And I'll hand it over to Don, who I've been close with for over 25 years.
Yes, I am an old Caucasian guy, 52 this year, got a nice gray beard. I'm wearing a shirt today that says humble, but also hustle.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of what I strive to do. And yeah, I'm a podcast host, actor, a director, producer, all that stuff. I work both sides of the camera. My main job is I'm a video editor. That's what I do. It's my bread and butter. But I love all sides of the industry. And I've been know Tony Walker for over 25 years, and me and him collaborate on lots of different projects. And yeah, so I'm excited to kind of get the word out to the BraveMaker audience out there of what we do out here on Long Island. We because Long Island represents New York.
Long Island, yes. And you all collaborated through family, which is kind of fun. It's like I said, "How did you meet?" Off here, you're like, "He married my cousin." That's great. I love it.
Yeah, Tony was brought into the family about 25 years ago. He married my cousin Lisa, and another family connection too that kind of connects to the film is his son Zach, who's now 22, just turned 22 years old. Yep, he graduated from film school. And he was the AD on the film, and his girlfriend was our DP, and they were amazing, like professional. You know, when you fresh out of school, you haven't really developed any bad habits yet, so it's they're just like we're on point. So it was just really, and plus they only worked for food, which was nice.
All right, well, let's hit into this. So you've got this film. Tell us about it. Comic Sans. It's getting some traction. You've had some screenings. Let's hear about how it came to be and how your prospective roles were fleshed out in the making of it.
Yeah. Well, Comic Sans is a film about a comedian. And, we work in the comedy club. Tony and I were around the comedy club a lot. Governor's Comedy Club out in Long Island, Levittown. And, yeah, we just kind of put this, I wrote a script. we had a lot of comedian friends, and from all different levels of the comedy food chain. From some of them were kind of brand new, open mic level comics, and then we had some others that were feature middle act, and then we had some headliners, and then we had some legends all in the same film. So it was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool for the Long Island scene to see all of those types of comics represented in there. And then Tony came on as a producer and actor in the film. And Tony, what's your recollection?
It was on a personal level, it was very exciting. Like we said, Don and I have known each other for 25 years. When we met, we were in our 20s, working, real jobs that we hated. And we would talk back then about, hopefully getting to being able to make a movie or just get in the business somehow. And
you were dreaming the dreams.
Exactly. So it was nice 25 years later like Don said, we've done some other projects, but this was really special to have other family members involved, to put it together and actually make it a reality. It was very special. Plus it helped that the script was really good. It wasn't, thank goodness it wasn't one of those things where I had to just tell Don it was good because we're cousins, it was really good. And we, like Don said, we got some very talented people in there. So it was a very special project. And then to see it, get such a great responses it's been getting has been very exciting.
So you've been collaborating on other projects before, but this film, is this the first time you've done a film together in this way?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of our listeners are going to be interested in, some of them are making films themselves. They're writing, they're hoping to, and I usually save this for the end of the conversation, but I kind of want to jump right in. You said, Tony, that it was good. You could tell that it was good at first. That's great. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes when you're reading a script, like, ooh. How did you know it was good? What are some of the things? What were some of the signs that told you this was good?
It was just, I found it very funny at times. Don and I do have a very similar sense of humor, a little, off, little twisted. So so I got a kick out of that. I knew too who he wanted to cast in it. So I kind of heard these people, I was kind of reading it in their voices. So, and that definitely helped me, get a real grip on what this movie was. And the movie it's a dramedy, it's a mixture. It had a really nice emotional scene at the end, which I don't know, just really drew me into it as well. I loved it. I really did. I loved it. And again, thank goodness I didn't have to tell him otherwise. So, so it worked out. I was still proud to be a part of it. And
so you've got this script. Let's talk about the nitty gritty of making it. How did you put it together? Did you raise money? Did you front the money? Did you get people to volunteer their time? Talk about all the ins and outs and what you learned in the making of this short called Comic Sans.
So basically how it started out was I was we're in the green room of the comedy club, and I'm talking to other comedians, Sherry Poland, she's in the film. And we're talking, I said, I'm working on, thinking about writing a script about the comedy club. And then she's like, oh my God, you have to do it. I'm so excited. So her excitement kind of got me excited. And then it also made me like, oh man, now I actually have to write a script because I got people, anticipating it. So it gave me the kind of drive I needed to kind of start writing out the script. And then once I wrote the script, one of the first people I said it to was Tony, and I told him who I had in mind for some of these characters. And like he said, you could start to hear the voices of these characters because I was writing it with we have a circle of comedy friends, and they're all kind of unique individuals like comedians are, and so each one kind of has their own thing, and you could start to see that in these characters. So once we got that going and I got all the characters kind of cast, and then they all read the script and everyone liked the script, we then started having table reads and stuff like that. And at around the same time period, sometimes things just kind of work itself out. all of these group of young filmmakers were graduating from Five Towns College, eager to get a project under their belt in the real world. And we put a whole team together. We had like a full crew, a full production team on hand, with they were shooting on Reds and Black Magics, and so we were all set, and with very little overhead. It was all pretty much out of pocket. It was just mainly for food, because we also, with the connections with Governors, and Tony Walker got to work his magic out with the owners of Governors, and managed to secure the club for like 3 days and nights. We had the club virtually around the clock at our disposal, which is huge, and there's zero overhead on that. And then Andy Plagianos, one of the comics that's also in the film, his day job, he owns a company and had an office building. So we were able to shoot some of the other stuff in his office, and so it all worked itself out from there. That picture you just showed.
I was trying not to laugh.
Some crazy pictures being showed right now, y'all.
But, Tony did tell you that he only had one leg, so you can imagine what that was.
That was my stump. I don't want, just so everybody knows, that wasn't something else. That was my stump.
Wait, to clarify, stump. Some people might not understand that word either, Tony. Let's move on.
Yeah. But yeah, so the film, just to give a quick synopsis, is a veteran comedian named Billy Ward. He's basically struggles for opportunities to enhance his career. He's been pretty much at the same level of comedy for the last 20 something years. He's in the same club he started in, and he begrudgingly watching other comedians that he helped mentor kind of pass him up through the ranks. So he then attempts to call in a favor from an old friend, who is kind of like a Kevin James type of a character. So Kevin James out here on Long Island is highly revered here, in a good, we love him. He's one of the guys that came up through our scene and made it to superstardom. So this character called Big Mac is kind of our Kevin James in this film, and he is an old friend of Billy Ward's. And Billy then attempts to go, hey man, you can help me get a job, basically trying to call in a favor with an old friend to get on the show. So that's basically the synopsis of what this is. And then and it all takes place during one day, one night at the club. Great. So a lot of ebbs and flows throughout it. So yeah.
What I hear, we talk about this a lot in the BraveMaker culture, is what do you have access to? Who do you have access to? Right? Something you have a comedy club. That's amazing, and they let you use it, and then you bring in all your friends. And so if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like there wasn't a ton of expenses that came out of your pocket necessarily, because you were getting a lot of things for free. Is that correct to assume that?
Yeah, totally. We were able to call in a lot of favors. Everybody worked pro bono. They were all friends. We all just wanted, we had a legendary comedian named Joey Cola. He's a legend here on Long Island. He says he feels a little bit like Billy Ward, because he was there. He watched guys like Kevin James. He watched Ray Romano, Jimmy Fallon. Like, there's a lot of guys he helped along the way that blew up and became huge stars. And but to have Joey a part of this thing, being a Long Island comedy legend, and also a guy who really gets it, what the script was about, and had his blessing on it, went a long way. So yeah, to have people like that at kind of at our that were believed in the project and were willing to do stuff for us pro bono was huge. And like I said, I couldn't have done it any other way at this point. Like, we didn't do a Kickstarter, we didn't raise any money. I literally wrote it a year ago in March of 22, and we premiered it for the first time in November of 22. So less time than it takes to make a baby. We had this film off and running, And I just posted in there. I think that's a link to the trailer.
Oh, great.
But
I love hearing stuff like this because we often hear stories of how long films take, and they do take a long time a lot of times, and that's okay. I think we need to take our times, but I think there is something to be said about doing something on the quick, getting it up on its feet, making it happen, and finding the end on a quicker way than just the years that sometimes these things can take. So kudos to you for that. Let's take a look at the trailer. Those of you who are watching, this is episode 186 on the podcast. If you're watching or listening to this on the podcast audio version, you can go to our Facebook or check the show notes and find the trailer there on the link. You want to say something, Don, before we watch the trailer?
This trailer I don't know if this is the clean trailer. It may have 2 curse words. Otherwise, just FYI.
Cover your ears. If you can't handle this, cover your ears. We already saw a very hairy stump. So I don't know if we can handle this, y'all. All right, here we go. Here's the trailer to Comic Sans.
So long story short, they're putting together a cop movie with Vin Diesel, and they're looking for an unknown to play his funny sidekick. So she wants me to come down and audition.
Congratulations, but good luck.
I keep getting in the ring, only keep getting knocked the fuck out. And this was supposed to be my time, George.
Whatever happens, happens. The thing is to keep your head in the game. Persevere. Consistent persistence, my friend.
It's called show business, not show friends, okay?
You guys are unbelievable. Holy shit.
Yes, okay. It's called Show Business, not Show Friends. Ooh, we could talk a lot about that. That's interesting. Okay. So let's hear it. Let's hear. By the way, I love industry movies. My film Last Chance Charlene is all about the industry. So I'm like, I like Entourage, I like Hacks, I like For Your Consideration. I love stuff like that.
Nice.
So,
yeah, me too.
And
So,
congrats you on Last Chance for Charlene, by the way.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. I appreciate
Yes, indeed.
that. Thank
That's
you.
huge.
So, show business, not show friends. Have you had some challenges in this industry working with friends or family? I'd love to hear it. And how have you found a way around those things and in getting things done?
You got it, Tony. You want to take it?
Yeah, I do think it's a very fine line working with family and or close friends. That there may or not have been some weird things going on, during the making of Comic Sans between people who were, connected and even and even hosting hosting our podcast and stuff. We've had some weird situations with comics who have become friends, so it can be a little dramatic at times.
Yeah, I think I think that with this particular movie, the experience was mostly positive. Working with family and
Yes.
and our friends and all that kind of stuff. But when you talk about the show business, not show friends thing, that's when it gets a little tough when you do call in favors or you need things, and that's what I think we tried to show in this movie, was that kind of where's the line between business and friendship, and
It was
it's a
interesting.
slippery slope. Yeah.
It was interesting after we made the movie how many, you had everybody coming to us. Hey, you're doing another one? I'd like to be in it. Or some people actually saying, why didn't you put me in this movie?
Right.
So after the fact was a little awkward at times.
That's where I say I've had the same thing too. All of a sudden, people think you're rolling in the money, like you're going to bankroll your next movie like that. We'll say,
Yeah,
put me
exactly.
on. I'm like, yeah, how about you help me make it, right?
Right.
The only way I could do that last one was a lot of humble hustle and help from people. So join the club and help us make this next one. Okay, so Don, you directed it and wrote it, and Tony, you acted in it and produced it.
Correct.
Let's hear some of your best practices as actor, as director, as producer, writer. What are some of the things that you would say everyone needs to know? What are some of the things that you wish you did different or that you'll do different next time?
Wow, good question, Tony. Holy moly!
For me, when I as a director, I like to keep it somewhat loose because I want we go by a script. It's not like we improv. It's not Larry David or anything, but I do like to let them talk in their own voice if they need to. Like, so, if a certain sentence or whatever feels better coming out of their mouth, saying it their way versus my way, I'm fine with that. And we try to keep it fun, because that's what it's all about, especially on a set where no one's getting paid. You want to keep it as fun and as light as possible. You don't want anybody to start feeling any certain type of way. But for the most part, that's what I like to do. I want everybody to walk away with a good experience. I want everybody to walk away feeling like it's theirs. Like, this is our movie. It's not my movie. It's not Tony's movie. It's our movie. It's everybody's, and who was involved in this thing and put it all their hard work into this thing, whether it's the guy holding the boom mic, or if it's the person acting or whoever. I want everyone to feel the same pride in that film as I do. And so and as the writer, I try to write in a real place. I try to make it, I try to touch in on the psyche, kind of, what's going on in each character's mind, and that's part of the fun part when you're writing, is to kind of put your feet in all these different shoes. And Tony's case, just the one shoe, but no. No, but you try to. I like this. But you try to put yourself in everyone's position and how they might be feeling. And to me, that's part of the magic of script writing. That's what I like about writing out dialogue, especially, is you can really kind of express that, And Tony was great as a producer, man, and as an actor. Tony acts all the time in his Knock 'em Dead theater group, and so he was just working with him on this was amazing on many levels, but also just have the professionalism that he brings with his acting chops was awesome. So kudos.
Thank you, brother. And it was an honor doing the whole thing with you and being involved. And you nailed it. I mean, I do like to have fun, of course, too. And there's a lot of joking around. It was a lot of fun, but it's weird on an independent level. You can get a lot of people, especially if you're working with no budget or limited budget. You might end up working with people that may not have experience or don't take it seriously, and that could get in the way. And we didn't have that. I'd like to have fun with it too, but keep it professional and get the work done. And we were fortunate to have that. And as it wasn't even really kind of set up in the beginning that I would be the producer. Just kind of fell on my lap. But once we kind of established that, then from a producing standpoint, it was important that it came out good, and it was important that everybody, all the actors and even the club came out. Like, I wanted everybody to be represented well. So, that's my acting reel.
Hey, nice.
If you're watching, Tony Walker's acting reel, everybody. So Tony, this episode 186, and I know we got connected through my former co-host Christina Ray Jackson, who's connected to, I think, your friend who does marketing and PR.
Shout out to Danny. Yeah, Danny Coronado. Right? He's watching right now, I believe. So shout out to Danny.
Yeah, I met Danny through a mastermind type group. So I'd love to hear, because Christina was always really great at this, as somebody who was living in the intersection of the disabled community and the acting community. I know that's something obviously you're bringing to the mix too. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Just kind of what you have experienced and what you're learning. And, it seems to be every day we're getting better. And sometimes it feels like every day there's taking two or 3 steps back. I don't know what your thoughts and feelings are about that, but I'd love for you to be able to share if you want.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, I had, when we first connected with you guys, of course, I looked it all up and I saw that Christina has, she has her physical issues going on, and I wish her the best, and I hope she's okay. Yeah, I became an amputee 18 years ago. It was definitely weird, and it's an adjustment, but it could always be worse. So, and you're correct, Tony. Things do get better as time goes on. There's more acceptance. I found nothing. I haven't really had too many negative experiences. If anything, like Don making that joke a minute ago. I mean, I've had a lot of laughs with people about it. I do a lot in my comedy act about having one leg. I don't want to I don't want to take up too much time with this, but I was on crutches for 3 years. I had cancer. So my kids were very little at the time. So to be able to, once we had the amputation and I was able to walk again, I felt like I got my life back. So it really put a lot of things in perspective to be on crutches for 3 years and being very limited. And that was a rough time, being on crutches and in pain for 3 years, because you're very limited with what you can do. So getting my life back by getting a prosthetic leg, that was when I really made comedy more and acting more of a priority, because I was doing it on the side a little bit, but when you go through something like that, that's when you really get perspective, and that's when you realize how short life is, and you want to just do the things you want to do, the things that make you happy. So that led to a lot more acting work. That led to me getting this gig at Governor's, and I've gotten some good, some extra work on movies, where I'm playing a vet and I'm sitting in a wheelchair with no leg, and you know what, I'm fine with being typecast like that. I've been on Hunters, the series that Al Pacino was in. I've been in a few Marvel. I've done some Marvel projects where I'm in the background, and I've gotten some screen time. So, and my son, is a huge Marvel guy. And the first time he saw me, he was probably, I don't know, 15 or something. He was bouncing around the room because he saw his dad. And of course I joked that I'm an official Marvel character now. So, it's all about the positivity and just enjoying what you're doing.
I love that, and I thank you for sharing that. And I think there is more need for representation. One of the things that I started BraveMaker for was so that I could learn. I know I was ignorant. I had a lot of blind spots to things that I was not aware of. And when I moved into the second office that I have here, it's an older building and it's not ADA accessible. And so when Christina would have to come, it was so frustrating. We don't have an elevator. I'm like, how this? Wow, you don't think about those things, curbs. And for our film festival last year, we realized we need to make all of our films captioned. So if you are watching today and you are submitting your film for the 2023 BraveMaker Film Festival, every single film needs to be open captioned so that we're accessible to the deaf community. And that is something that we had to learn the hard way, humbly. Well, we're going to hustle and make it better for the future. So so thanks for sharing. We need more representation. We need to see more characters that are different than you always see on television and film. And it's a beautiful thing. And if you are a writer or a director, I would encourage you to write characters. And if you don't know characters that are different than you are, then get to know them so that you can write them and empower other storytellers and fund other directors and producers in their projects so we can see more things like this in the world. I think it's really important.
Well said. And again, kudos to you guys, BraveMaker. Again, after we got hooked up, I looked at your website and did the research, and it's really a great thing that you guys are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And with that, if you want to become a donor to BraveMaker, we have different tiers you can get in. And I'll say thank you to Robin Zitko, who is at one of our levels that she gets shouted out every podcast now because of her monthly donation. You can donate to BraveMaker by just texting the word BraveMaker to 44321. And we would love at the $250 level a month. you get shouted out, just like Robin Zitko. That's my mom. So
Shout out to Robin.
I'm really grateful to have met you both, and I think you are doing some really fun work, and I hope I get to connect with you in person when I get out to New York sometime, but you're welcome to come to Redwood City if you make your way out. So Comic Sans is doing the film festival circuit. You've had 2 screenings so far. You're hoping for more. Where do you want people to follow up and find you so they can keep in touch with where this film about the comedy scene ends up on a screen?
We do have to put together a Comic Sans like Instagram platform or something like that. But for now, you could just follow me or Tony. I always update all the Comic Sans stuff on my Instagram and my YouTube, which is called Put Up, Shut Up, Stand Up. So at Put Up, Shut Up, Stand Up, and Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up. Just so you know what that means. I used to have a game show that I did pre-COVID out of Governors that was called Put Up, Shut Up, or Stand Up, where comedians would have all these different things they had to go through. But so if you look up Instagram or YouTube at Put Up, Shut Up, Stand Up, you could find a lot of information and updates on all things Comic Sans, as well as if you follow Governor's comedy podcasts. Because Governors is the name of the comedy club in Levittown, Long Island. So Governors Comedy Podcasts will also get you all things Tony Walker, all things Long Island comedy, and all things Comic Sans. So yeah.
Sweet. So if you're in Long Island in the New York area, you want to go check out the Governors. Yeah, that's great. I love that. Awesome. Well, hang around with us because we're not done. We would now like to hear your one favorite thing of the week.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
I'm going to favorite this week power and light because my family was without power 3 days last week, and now we are on our 2nd day again with no power. So not cool, Redwood City, or just not cool, Mother Nature. That's what's happening. Mother Nature. Something is happening where the wind is just not cooperating and our PG&E lines are not underground. So it's such a bummer. But right now, I do have power in here. But last week, all these, I have rechargeable lights. They're the same lights that we use for our red carpet events for BraveMaker, and it's so great. I took them home and used them at my house because we don't have power at home, and it's been great. So I want to just favorite rechargeable lights, y'all. Get yourself some rechargeable lights. All right, Don, what do you got? What's your favorite thing of the week?
So for me, my favorite thing of the week was it's a bittersweet thing, but I commemorated my brother. God bless him. He would have been 50 years old yesterday. He passed about 2 years ago. So to commemorate him, I just got back from the tattoo shop an hour ago, and I don't know if we could see this. Where is it?
Hey.
So that's his picture, and those are daffodils around him, and the daffodils are the March birth month because he was born March 21st, 1973. And that's my little brother there. That's a sketch that was drawn by a local cartoonist named Taz. Taz, the residential artist, drew the drawing, and then Rob White, local Long Island comedian and tattoo artist, just tattooed me about a couple hours ago. So
oh my gosh, I love it.
Hot off the press.
I love that. I'm gonna have to reveal mine. I just got a tattoo right here a couple of days ago too, but next week tune in and I'll show it.
So you know how painful that spot is, right?
Oh man, yeah. My guy was like, "This is really thin skin, just so you know." I was like, "Is that you trying to tell me it's gonna hurt more than normal?" I was like, "Yeah, basically." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it hurt. It was.
That's awesome. Well, R.I.P. to your brother. That's amazing. Tony, what do you got?
I think I'm gonna follow Don's sentiment a little bit because I obviously knew Greg as well, and I'm just going with the family theme. My son, who we talked about, who worked on Comic Sans, he got a job working with a production company, and he was gone for almost 2 weeks working on a project. So he just got home a few days ago. So it's just nice to be with the kids, and it's again, we're talking about Comic Sans, and Don and I are family, so just family. Just enjoying,
sending some love to the family
Absolutely.
vibe. Yes. Get you some family to make some movies with and appreciate with. I love it. And have some kids, get some tattoos. This is phenomenal. All right, you guys, this has been really great. Thank you so much for your time. Episode 186. We got Tony Walker and Don Sill. Check out their short, Comic Sans. Find it, not the fonts, okay? Not the font. All right, don't be using that font. Don't get confused.
That's why I named it.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep making people laugh. Keep sharing your stories. This is really great. You two, don't go away. Everybody else, you know what it is. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all of you who give and who are supporters of BraveMaker. Everything you give is tax deductible. You can find out more at bravemaker.com. Don't forget to watch my movie, Last Chance Charlene, available on VOD everywhere. And don't forget our film festival. Oh my gosh, follow us on socials, bravemaker.org, because I'm going to be revealing a bunch of things coming up. Our new headquarters in downtown Redwood City, some of our special guest actors that you will know and recognize from big movies and television shows. Oh my gosh, it's coming 5th anniversary, so it's got to be bigger. Okay, huge thank you to our producer Amy Cohen from Austin, Texas, our podcast editor Barnell Amos in Grand Rapids, Michigan, our social media producer Carrie Alley, also in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and our film intern Jessica Cohen. Thank you all for all your work and that you're doing. I really appreciate all of the great work. We get to do this every week together. So can't do this without those 4 people. And I really appreciate you. If you want to be a part of our team, you can find me on the socials at Tony Gapastone or at my website, Tony Gap, or just DM us through the BraveMaker Instagram page. We are adding people all the time, and we have people from New York to Grand Rapids to Austin, Texas to the Bay Area. You can be anywhere in the world and be a part of the work that we're doing. Okay, cool. All right, guys, that was awesome. I really appreciate you and the time today. And if you need anything else from us, find us, let us know. We're happy to support and make any more connections that'll be helpful to you all.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. This was an absolute blast.
Right.
Loved it. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, until next time, everybody, brave stories change the world, and you are the story. We'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at BraveMaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.